All right, take two. Here we go. Welcome everybody to Be Alive podcast. This is Saints in Pairs, episode 6. Andres is our special guest. How are we doing today, my friend?
Overall, good. A little sad boy today. I feel like a truth that I've needed to look at is getting loud, and so I'm gonna have to take some action on it. But it'll probably make things a little crummy for a second.
Yeah, and we'll get into that in whatever depth that you want to.
How are you
Or
feeling today?
I I didn't sleep well last night. I have like every week. There's one or two nights where I'm just tossing around. Last night was one of those nights. There was no reason for it. I had a great day yesterday. I've had a great week. Um, but so I was feeling a little bit tired, obviously, this morning, and I couldn't get myself to focus on some of the work I wanted to get done prior to this recording. But then I just lay down on my couch for like 30 minutes and just watched the clouds go by. I think I fell asleep for like 10 minutes, took a little nap, woke up, washed my face, and I feel fresh. So ready to dive in.
Dude, I have this. I've heard from Andrew Huberman that human growth hormone comes out between 10 and midnight. And even though everyone says everyone's circadian rhythm's different, you can go to bed at different times. For myself, at least, I feel incredible when I go to bed between 10 and midnight, and this whole week I have not. So it's also indicative. Um, but yeah, I think it's because that hormones is released. You just feel different, refreshed, new of mind.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know what it is, but it's been a roller coaster of a week. Andres and I had a pretty insane conversation last night, like 11 p.m., or 11:30 or something like that. We chatted for an hour and um, we talked a little bit about it. But yeah, it's beautiful. It's like I'm very grateful for the last week of my life. It's like I say this every week, but every week that goes by, it's insane how much happens.
Mhm.
And I just contrast that to the way I used to live before, where like weeks would just go by, but like nothing would change. And now it's like so much changes, and it's only been a week.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Like the last pod, I talked about this girl, and then suddenly, like just a week later, I'm gonna have a big reveal, and I'm like, it in some human level, it makes me feel crappy because I'm like, dude, why is so much changing in a week? But then I ignore the human experience if I say that. And I guess for listeners, that's good too, because it's like, dude, you can have your life turn around or like decisions changed or mind and perspective gained. And all of a sudden you want to live differently a week later. And it's like, and that's okay. This is the weird part. Like I'm growing this self acceptance that I'm like, that is okay. There's nothing wrong with me for that. In fact, like I love myself for it, and I want to be with someone who loves me as well for it. That's what I want to harp on at some point of like getting into a relationship. It's always easiest if you have the same, way of thinking, all this other stuff, because then it's like you don't have a lot of disagreement. But when you're somebody like ourselves that like we're updating what we believe sometimes weekly or how we want to show up weekly, like how does someone love you through that? Like actually. Because their agreement in their head is like, "No, take me out on dates every week," or "Let's do this, let's do that. We've always done this, but now you wanna change that." And it's like, what is the thing that they can actually love about you, or who actually is Akash or Andres? So and what does it look like for someone to actually see that part of you so that when you are together, they c the relationship lasts through the changes, probably even because of the changes. Like, they love you for something deeper about you. I'm getting veered off.
No, there's no veering off, my friend. No, and I think that is a question that I think underlies every relationship,
Mm.
friendship, you know, romantic relationship, even work relationship. It's this question of, am I actually being seen for who I am? And am I allowed to change? Am I allowed to update my beliefs? Am I allowed to update the way I show up in a way that feels right to me and still be seen and accepted by the other person? You know, um, why don't we? Do you feel comfortable diving into this a little bit?
Please.
Okay, So just to give a recap for the listeners, and you know what? Before we do that, I forgot to do the 1 minute grounding. I feel like I could use that.
The same. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, we'll come back to this. So give me 1 sec. Let me set up my alarm clock. All right. So listeners, Andres, go ahead and close your eyes. Take a couple of deep breaths. And just settle into the ground, settle into your body, and just notice what arises over the next minute, and I'll call us back when it's time. All right, come on back. Quick reflection. How was that?
Peaceful with dots of like restlessness.
Yeah.
How about you?
I'm feeling real scattered right now, to be honest. A little restless,
Same.
a little janky. You know, things don't feel as smooth as they normally do.
Like I start to feel the peace, then he goes. You're like, yo, I'm like touching it, and then I'm like, it's like I'm getting hit in bumper carts. Like I'm coasting, and then someone just bumps into me. Yeah.
You know it's real when the quack voice comes out.
I love it, bro. I love it.
Okay, so kind of coming back to the conversational thread we were on before this. There's this woman that you've been close to, friendship wise. There's a fundamental difference in kind of your belief systems. And you come from a similar faith that she did, but have recently realized that maybe it doesn't quite align to the person I am now. But you feel something with this person, right? You feel this connection. You described it to me as there's like a playfulness to this person that is very rare. You don't see that often in women that you meet. There's a liveliness, an aliveness to her as well. And I think last week, do you remember where we left off last week, last Friday?
We had just called each other, and she was like, I was like, would you even consider? Because I told her like I wanted. She texted me. I was like, I didn't know what to say when you texted me because I thought we agreed to call this off. And then we had a hard convo where she was like, I was like, would you even consider marrying a non-Catholic? And she's like, I don't know how I'm saying this because I would never usually say this, but like, yes. And she's like, I'm frustrated. There's something about you. I like talking to you. And so I felt like this openness. And then I said my truth. Like, I don't want to be with somebody who's going to make me feel guilty for what I believe. So it seems like she like got with the program in terms of like, okay, I get the stakes. And then she's like, well, ask me out or don't. And then I was like, all right, why not try? So I asked her out. I guess it didn't say that on the pod, but I was leaning towards that. And we did something really cute in terms of like the whole asking out thing. Akash helped me out, and it was great. And then I saw her last night, and we've been texting throughout the week. But like, this is the thing: the flirting and fun pillar is really strong. And I think I sent you this video about what makes a relationship great. There's 3 things, and so that's the sexual, creative component. Then the other 2 components are intellectual compatibility and emotional compatibility. The intellectual being that we can both learn and grow from each other. So she can say things about life, spirituality, friendship, whatever, and it can give wisdom. And when I'm going through something hard, she's able to speak understanding into the scenario, and I can do the same. I don't feel that with her. Maybe like 20%. And the other one is like, and I want something like engaging and stimulating. Why do you think this happens? And I want to be able to voice note it and her find it exciting, not like this guy's so weird. Why is he thinking like um, that people can come and go in your life and that like it can be all be a gift? Like what kind of thought is that? Like I would like entertain the thought and she wouldn't. And the other one's emotional compatibility, which is you can both hold space for each other. And when I like share something super vulnerable to me, I don't think she's can get it. Like she's limited in her scope of understanding. And so she brushes over it like, "Oh, that's really cool." And I'm like, "I just shared this moment that I had where I felt God." And it's like that's like almost everything to me. Like I don't like I've been thinking about getting that feeling my whole life as a kid, and then when I've encountered it, all I wanted was more of it. And then when I tell you about it, you just look at me of like, "That's great." And I like die a little inside. Um so
Did that happen last night?
that happened a little bit last night. And the only thing that made me feel better was when we were playing together.
Mm.
Flirty, exciting. She came and sat next to me on the couch, like rubbed arms a little bit. She even pulled out something like from like a Catholic reading from last week that she was talking about. And that's like the closest we can get to her talking about spirituality and like how she relates to it from the religious side. Um, but there's like an emptiness that I feel of like I can't even share with you my heart.
Yeah. Yeah. So where does that leave you? I mean, it's been a little bit. You slept on it. You're halfway through the day today. Where are you right now? And
I've
again, share anything you want. And don't share anything you don't want.
I felt so anxious this morning and I sat with why. And this is the same exact feeling I had with the girl that I had my initial trauma, the hardest relationship in my entire life. She's almost the same person is the scary part, or I guess the blessing. Like it's almost like 6 years later, here I am with the same person that I first ever went sideways with. She's playful, she's charming, she's cute. A lot of people wanted her, whatever. But she didn't have this depth that I craved so that I could be understood. That was it. That was the gist of it. And I felt the feeling of like something's off here, but I didn't know how to say it. And so I forced myself to stay. And then I ended up getting to a point where I was like, I'll probably be hospitalized from anxiety because I can't exist in this anymore. And that's what happened to me in that really first relationship. And it just like something in me fragmented for a long time. And so I'm catching it a week in. Like what a gift, not 4 months in. Um, but I'm like refacing the same hard and but this time I see it and I want to honor her. Our date is supposed to be on Sunday, which is the most awkward part. It's also awkward. We just hung out as friends yesterday at her place, so like with other people over. So like, was that supposed to happen? Whatever. But I don't want to rip the rug under her, and I want to honor her. So I don't want to just send her a voice note. And so I'll probably call her today if it pans out. But I also wish that she could see it. Like I've started to allude to it in a couple messages this morning that I texted her because she likes to text back and forth, and I just couldn't. I just couldn't perform. I'm not trying to be performative when I feel this rawness.
Yeah. When you say you want to send her a voice note, you mean telling her that what exactly?
The truth that I feel so like the reason why I asked her out, and honestly, ask her like, "Why'd you ask me out?" But I sent her the video of the guy talking about the 3 pillars in a great relationship, and I said, "What are your thoughts on this morning?" And she goes, "I feel like that takes away the excitement of love. Like it's so psychological, and I know you love that." And I was like, "That's so opposite to what I why I listened to it and why I sent it." And I was like, I don't use it as a formula, but I use it to give me words to understand something that I feel, which is rich. And so like that's the thing. Like I love how we play. I love I want to connect with you and I'm like making efforts, but when I do, I don't feel understood. And so I want to like not share with you. Um, and I just don't think that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. And sorry, one more thing. It's the anxiety you mentioned that you're feeling this morning that you felt in that previous relationship as well, that you're
Right.
catching now, like 1 week in versus, 4 months in. What is that anxiety like about exactly?
It's misalignment. It's performance. It's, oh, I just want to be fun and exciting and flirt with her, but I don't feel understood. So I don't want to divulge more. I don't want to give myself more. I want to send her this idea that I have in my mind, but she's not going to get it. Why would I send it? I want to, yeah, it's a catch 22. It's these loses. It's this, I want to give, but I'm not actually, so I can't be me.
Man, I just so much love for you because I know like this is not easy to go through because I saw you. I saw how excited you were about this. Like you were so excited about it. But at the same time, when you know,
I know it kills me. It
and
kills me.
and you're willing to face it. You're willing to be like, you know what? There's something here that goes against my code that I just can't lie about to myself anymore. So I have so much love for you because it takes a lot of courage. I mean, it takes a lot of clarity, first of all, to see what you're seeing and recognize what the anxiety is telling you. And then it takes courage to like act on it. Um, and I'm sure so many other people, and you probably as well, like can feel that anxiety that this is not the right thing for me, but we're like, oh, yeah, but maybe I'll try this, or maybe we'll try that first. And we try to rationalize, and maybe we'll have a conversation and everything will be fixed. And like, we keep trying and holding on.
Mm.
I'm curious if this is something you're willing to go, if you want to go there with it. Did that thought cross your mind? Like, can this be salvaged? Can
You
I
have
do
no
something?
idea. I'm still in it. In fact, I told myself I'm not going to rip the rug on her because I don't believe in doing that anyways. I wouldn't want anyone to do it to me. But what I will do and why I want to call her or see her is like, I want to lay the cards on the table and say, because she even told me, this is the irony, she also started to feel some of this. She's like, yeah, I sent you a text the other day. I thought you were going to be excited and thought it was super funny and you didn't even like really regard it. So I'm like, it's not just me. We're doing this. And so I want to
Mm,
name it. I want to honor the crap out of her because she is beautiful and she's hilarious. And I think there's plenty of people that wouldn't have this craving to like connect on a deeper level to the extent that I do. And that'll be perfect for her. But I just have this mind and I have to honor that. And so I like, in sharing, I'll tell her, like, look, I told you this moment I had with God last week. And I felt like I was throwing pearls at swine in the sense of, is that's a term she'll get like from the Bible, but it's like giving something of the highest value to someone who won't understand and it feels like it's being thrown away. It's like grabbing my heart and just like punching it, or, like stepping on it, and then being like not even noticing. Oh, sorry, trash right here. And it's like what I wanted is for someone to stop and then even if you didn't have words, just like look at me and like look into my eyes to see why I felt that, like to see how much it mattered to me and how much it like even gets me emotional. Like, so much of me is in that, like, that experience that I've had with God, that I've had, like, before with God, and, like, yeah, like, it's I want someone who, even if they don't get it fully, that they sit with me to try, and I would probably tell her that, and and I will honor the fact that she might like, she could easily be like, "Okay, I see you. Can we still go out on Sunday?" And, like, I wanna try to see you more, and if I feel peace in it, like, yes, but if she's like, I just don't think the same way, and I have so much respect for you, and that's okay, then I'd be like, "Beautiful. I honor that."
it's beautiful. I just love how connected you are. to yourself. Like how you can, you just know. And because you're like a mirror for me, right? Like you can't, like I'm seeing the way you are moving through this, and I think of past me in different
Mm,
situations, and how much I use my mind to try to rationalize things, to stay in things. And for you, it's like, no, I feel this. It's pretty conclusive. What I feel.
mm.
And you know what? If I say my truth and I'm at peace with going out with her, or I'm at peace with not going out with her, whatever it is that the peace is pointing to is the way, not what does my mind want.
Whatever the piece is pointing to is the way. I will say that's one of the great things that I learned in spiritual direction when I was Catholic. They would always say, like, God is in the peace. When you make a decision that you know comes with peace, it's driven by peace. It's for you um, to get rid of chaos in your life, to bring more order. It's peace.
Amazing. It's beautiful.
So yeah, um, I had a bunch of thoughts that I wrote on my phone that I wanted to talk about, and I don't remember right now. But one thing I do want to say was about last night. Is there anything that came up from our conversation last night that you want to revisit now?
um, on your side or my side?
Anything. Your side sounds great.
I don't. This is the thing with me these days. I don't remember what we talked about. Like I was so present with what we were talking about that I don't actually remember the specific details.
Let me see if I can pull it up. I love you.
uh, there was one question I asked you, but I don't know. I feel like it's just say no if you don't want to talk about it, and no hard feelings. Um, but I remember I asked you if this were a lesson from the universe, what would that lesson be?
And I remember saying like, dude, I love that you asked me this. You're talking about what with my current situation with this girl?
Yeah.
Honor me. The lesson is honor me. Like in the last relationship where this happened, like I didn't honor myself and I didn't say the thing. I didn't leave it on the table and somewhat walk away. If not, like I didn't honor. Like there's even still 10% of me when I like talk about this. I'm like, strangers are gonna listen to this pod and they're gonna be like, this guy might be so dramatic. Like, yeah, you want something so deep and that's so great, man. But like it's kind of weird, or people, just like chill out. And I'm like, but that doesn't honor me. And when I honor that, like, look at you and I's friendship. You're an embodiment of the honor. Like, I honor it for you when you share something with me. I hold it with this regard of like, this is all that matters right now. And you do the same for me. Is it weird? Who cares? I only want people in my life that honor it as if it's not weird. I love weird.
Yeah.
So I think that's the lesson.
Honor me. Oh, I love that. I fucking love that. Wow.
Can I ask you something?
Of course.
You've been doing what I've been calling cleaning house this week, but I want to know the deeper intention. Maybe give an understanding for the listeners of like, what has this been cleaning house, and why have you been cleaning house, and what's the point?
Thanks for asking. So for context, this week I've just been, something came through to me last weekend, Sunday, I would say specifically, that in the same vein of honor me, if there are ways in my life right now that I'm not honoring myself, in regards to the people I spend time with and the people I reach out to and things like that. Um, it's something for me to look at again.
Mm.
And I feel this is not easy to talk about because I don't think there's sadness in letting people go. But I've had to cut one friendship, um, and there was someone I was I went on one date with who I was like on the fence about seeing again. And I also realized like I'm not interested in pursuing that further, because I'm realizing that my time is valuable. Like I don't mean that from a place of ego. Like just if I don't honor my time, then I'm betraying myself at some level. There's this really, really cool idea that came to me recently. It's called it's the phrase is competing wants. So at any given time, we can have competing wants about a particular thing. Like I want to go to this, I don't know, this concert versus I want to stay at home and relax tonight. And there's only one right answer. Always. There's always only one right answer. If we tune into ourselves, like we talked about, the peace is the way. It points to the way. And so when it comes to people, if there's a part of me that feels like when I'm spending time with this person, I don't feel whole. Like this is very similar to actually what you're describing with
Mm.
this woman. If I don't feel whole, if I don't feel like I'm actually seen in a way that feels peaceful within me, then I'm at some level saying yes to something I don't actually want. And that's a betrayal of myself. And in a way that stays in my system and like it just stays there and it prevents something that is whole from coming into my life. Like something truly whole, like this friendship. This friendship feels so whole to me. There's no compromising, right? Like
Right.
we can both purely show like we have and had probably every conversational topic you can think of. Like we will shit talk and have fun and just screw around, and then we'll have these types of deep conversations, and then we'll get even deeper in this. This is like we're scratching the surface right now,
Mm. Facts.
right? Like this is whole, and I think for me, I've recognized what wholeness is. Also,
Mm.
in the startup I'm working on, the two co-founders, that feels whole too. So I have three examples of people in my life that feel so whole in how I am around them. And that's what I want more of. And so I can't, that's not going to happen until I'm honest with myself about who I'm spending my time with, where my energy is going. Because this is the funny thing is I've framed a lot of these things as like loyalty. Like I'm loyal to my friends. I'm loyal to the people in my life. Like it's a rationalization. It's like, hey, you're a good person because you spend time with people, even if you don't always want to spend time with them. That makes you a good person. Like that in some way, that's loyalty, right?
Mm.
And if that person calls you, like I'm always going to be around to answer or whatever it is. And at some level, like I'm not saying loyalty is meaningless, but it's if we're being honest, it's not loyalty so much as like an attachment. It's outsourcing something to somebody else. It's trying to fill a gap or a void you feel inside with something external to you in these relationships. Um, so yeah, I've had to make some difficult decisions this week around that. Um, and I just had the conversations I needed to have in whatever form they needed to happen, all with love. Like at the end of the day, this is an act of love. Like if I don't feel whole, if this kind of energy that you and I have isn't present, then it's not whole to me. And therefore it's actually a disservice to both of us. So even though it feels painful in the moment to cut the cord with that person, really what I'm doing and it's not just me. Like in a way it's a co-creation between me and the other person, even if they're the one on the receiving end. We're freeing ourselves to go find what is actually for us. And the only reason I haven't done this more in my life is because I was afraid of the pain of being alone. Because now it's like, oh, I have fewer people to spend time with here in a new city I just moved to. So part of me was like, oh wow, like I feel lonelier all of a sudden.
Mm.
but that's what I thought that was going to happen, but that's not what's happening. It's it's like, wow, I have more energy now to dedicate to things. And you and I talked about this last night, but I had a call with somebody who, I'm very active on Twitter. And so I meet very, very, very cool people from Twitter. And this person is based out of like central India, you know, and we had the most unbelievable kind of conversation. If anyone here is familiar with parts work or IFS, internal family systems, we kind of did a session and examined some of my core wounds that still kind of surface in some ways. But like, it felt whole. I was talking to this
Mm.
person and we both were like, we're kind of the same energy.
Mm.
We're both like very feminine,
Mm.
forward men who are now learning to embody their masculine.
Mm.
And there was so much love I felt in that, and just in seeing each other like that.
Mm.
So yeah, thanks for asking. It's been an interesting time. I think I keep bringing up this trip back home. Like, I'm going to be very curious to see who I want to spend time with when I go back, how it feels, because I don't think this is just the beginning. I feel like I'm going to really, I want to continue to be honest with myself, you know? Um, and if that means other friendships and whatnot are no longer serving both of us, then I need to let those go too, you know? So yeah, I think that's all on that I wanted to share. Thank you for asking.
Of course, dude. That conversation last night, I don't know if you wanna get into this part. I can read my notes here too, but we we talked about there's a word we use, not oblivion, but, like, when you get into that state of mind and you evaporate. Um, do you wanna go in there? What do you feel like is next for us right now?
My friend, whatever is the most alive is what's next.
Okay, I think we're going in.
Before you get into it, I would like to, if either you or I would love to share a little bit of context on what we're talking about because it's
Please,
very abstract.
please.
Okay, so we're going to get into the mystical realm. I think we hit that 2 weeks ago a little bit. Um, and others, I'd love for you to share whatever you want to share about that. But just for some context, and I'm not going to give the whole spiel. You can go back and listen to the episode 4 if you want the whole context for this. But when we find pure stillness within us, um, at a level that like if most people have to meditate and they have to do a lot of work on themselves to like work through a lot of their karma, so to speak, which is just things in their life that are not aligned anymore to who they are. And as you start to become freer inside and more free inside and more free inside, and you're able to be who you are more and more and more, as you start to open your heart to in a way that's like you just feel love a lot, you just naturally kind of progress into this space or state of like in the direction of enlightenment. And enlightenment being like, we all know the Buddha and Jesus Christ, and there are all these figures and Krishna and all these figures who different traditions look to as kind of the avatars that represent um, the energy of the divine in human form. Any of us, and this is the crazy part, any of us, if we do the work, if we look at ourselves with complete and utter honesty, can go to that place.
Mm.
And it's indescribable. It's beyond concept. It's beyond anything the mind can conjure. It is a feeling, and I have not experienced this personally, but for some reason I know Andres has, and he experienced it last week, most recently, and several times before that as well. But in this state, and you actually, I think it would be better if you described it because you've actually experienced it, and then we can dive into whatever conversational thread around it that you would want to. How does that sound?
Great. Um, it's weird because when I think about it right now, it was as if it was a moment where I understood, where I was being in touch with something much more real. I don't know if I talked about it on the pod. I guess I couldn't have because it was Saturday and we talked on Friday. I started having this understanding when I was talking to a friend on Saturday that all suffering comes from this idea that we're a victim. Someone's hurting me, this person traumatized me, this thing happened. And the pain is real, as in like, you can feel pain from things, but the suffering in the mind comes from I feel like I'm a victim. And I don't know why it came up, but it like clicked. It was as if I learned this lesson more clearly. And then I started to have this kind of visceral set of memories come back from the past of things that I'd been hurt by, moments, people, or what I felt like. And it was almost like rewriting it, like in this I'm shaking my hand because it felt like the memory would pass and then I would rewrite the lesson of like, they actually didn't do anything to me. It was how I interpreted it. And then it would move to the next one. And it was just happening like on rapid fire for like 15 minutes. And then I just started like bawling. Um, and on in repeat, I was like, I get it. I get it. Like I see the lesson. And right when that happened, it's still getting to me again. Right when that started to happen, I like closed my eyes. I was laying on the couch and I like felt this warmth and like I couldn't really picture anymore what was going on around me, where I was, what was happening, like noises. It was just, and then in the warmth, there was like this really bright, like white light, like kind of my mind's eye. And I felt like presence, like I felt like someone was moving closer to me. And I saw it as like God. Um, like my psyche probably saw it as like God the Father and like this older man that had like white hair, and he just like gave me this huge hug. And at this point, like I'm just bawling. Um, and I like I'm choking up and I'm like laughing and hysterically and also crying and just saying like I missed you and 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 then like the words just slowly would come out of like I'm home. Like I'm home. I get it. I'm home. Like this whole time I thought you were away from me. Like I felt like for the last couple of years I felt like this idea that I was abandoned by God or that he had left me to some extent. And it honestly made me feel like a victim, and it led to these internal vows I didn't want to have to like be self-reliant and all this other stuff. Um and it just came back, and I remember it was the same feeling I used to have where I could just talk in my mind's eye and my heart, and I would hear answers to God of like, who am I? Like, who are you? Where are we going? Or like, what do I need to say to this person? Or why does this thing coming up? And I would just get the answer with clarity after I had some of these experiences when I was a bit younger. And then I felt like I lost it. And then like, I just felt it again. Like, it was just like, yeah. And it came in the sense of like, it felt like it was God. But the strange part is like, yeah, and I didn't wanna come back either from what I was experiencing. I was both torn of, like, I'm so overwhelmed, I don't even know how to, like, function in my body right now, and I was also like, "There's something to this," and then I was like, "Is it time to come back?" And I felt it'd be like, "It's time." And, like, when I opened my eyes, I was so like, I felt out of body, like, I was still kind of, like, over here and trying to come back in. I was, like, shaking a little bit. It's like, I need to take a shower to, like, feel again, and I was just like, um and it just felt like I, like, evaporated into that, like, warm embrace, um, and it was the first time it happened outside of, like, a religious context, which is, like, really beautiful because I always had this question of, like, "Who are you and why is this happening?" And I used to have it answered for me, and now I'm, like, exploring this idea of, like, yeah, what is it? Um, and why do I like why when I'm in there does it feel more real than like anything that I ever experienced like sensory in life? Like even love with people and relationships doesn't come close to like when I was in that. It was yeah, I don't know.
What do you make of it now? It's almost been a week.
I haven't been thinking about it much this week. Um, I feel like if it's I read this thing briefly that you sent me last night that God is not a being, he just is, like everything is. And so when I say it, it feels unfitting right now of like if I feel like God is like, you're not spending enough time with me, is the thing I want to say. Because I'm like, this beautiful moment happened. I felt like I re-entered myself or he re-entered me. And then I haven't really been talking to him that much. Um, or just recognizing it.
Do you feel guilty or guilt at all about that?
No, but it's just that I'm missing like a beautiful gift.
Hmm. Yeah, man. I wish I had someone to like point you to make sense of these things because it is so outside the realm of normal, human conversation topics.
Fair, dude, fair.
But I also completely know how real this is the crazy thing about this experience, that I until intellectually understand is that it's more real than anything in our normal day to day life. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
And like, why the reason why that's true is there's this feeling of wholeness. Like usually when we're going through our day or our life, something feels off. Something's like, oh, like I could be doing that, or like something is present where we're like, I don't feel complete right now. And typically, the story goes, I will feel complete when I do this, or when that person comes into my life, or whatever story we tell ourselves. That's how we normally live. But I think it would be a safe assumption, and please validate this or not, that in that experience you feel complete. You need nothing else.
Yeah. Yeah, and in fact, it's so I think partly it was so overwhelming because it's like I don't even know how to hold it in my human body. I'm like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can I ask you a couple questions about it?
please.
How do I phrase this? I kind of asked you already. How are you feeling about the experience a week later? How do you feel about you not giving more time and attention to that feeling more?
I was thinking about something you said the other day. You were like, "Do you not feel a calling to like do something with this or to tell more people?" And then I like gave you this answer, which is it's how I feel. I'm like, I don't even know. Like I used to dream so big with this stuff. That's why I did missionary work, but I I think I want this like simplicity of life and whoever meets me, whatever we tango, we have, I have my work. And then you were like, "Yeah, man, you're 26. Like you're young. It's beautiful." Um, but I feel like sometimes I go back and forth between this idea of is there something here that if I didn't have as many distractions that it would like I would start to soar a little bit, like almost levitate. If I paid more attention to it and devoted more energy to it, that something would happen with my life. Um, more and I don't even know. I don't even know if I actually want that either. Like there's something that I enjoy about having a simple life to some extent. So to answer your question, I think I oscillate.
Yeah. And are you able to go inside and feel his presence right now?
Yeah.
If you asked him whatever feels right to ask him right now, what does he say back?
I asked him, who do I need to be? And he said, you already are. And I asked him, what should I be doing? What you are. I feel this sense that, yeah, these things are supposed to be happening. Like, I'm not supposed to rush the timeline. Like, I'm on a pod talking about this with you right now. Is that not enough? When you see me, hold me. In those moments of doubt, spend time with me. When things don't make sense, quiet down, and I will level the room. When division comes, steady your hand. I made you so that you might know me. You experience things so that you might see. It's so gentle. I feel like this like little kid and I'm on a swing. And it's like one of those scenes in like an anime movie or something and like the wind is like blowing a couple leaves in the background. It's just this young kid and you think someone's pushing the kid because he's like going up and down, but he's just swinging. And it feels like, I don't know. I don't know why. That's what I'm just seeing.
I'm gonna like. I feel like I'm gonna float away right now.
I'm so happy you feel it too because on a human level, I'm like, what the F did I just say? And then, but like when I'm in it and when I'm saying it, like nothing feels more real.
It is. Can I share my experience? I want you to. By the way, I want you to, when I publish this episode, I want you to go back to this section, listen to yourself, and watch me.
Mm.
Can I share my experience as you were sharing all of that? Anytime I feel like I'm in the presence of the divine, my throat gets so tight, like so tight. Even right now, as I'm talking, I can feel it tightening up. And I've had a block here for a while. You and I have talked about this in person. For the audience, like I have my whole life I've suppressed my own speech because I was afraid of saying the wrong thing. Um, the human scientific way to think about this is like literally pressure is just building here because I would never allow it to come through my words. And every day, like whether I'm at school and the teacher is like, "Hey, does someone want to answer this question?" I would literally be in the back of the room and I would be terrified of being called on, and there's no way in hell to raise my hand, except maybe one or two classes. At home with my family, with my parents, same thing. I wouldn't say a word back to them if I got scolded or got told to do something. I would never question it. I would just go do it. Um, I remember in high school, my basketball coach, same thing. I would, I was so terrified of authority because I could be punished. I could be exposed. I could be, um, just told that I'm doing the wrong thing. So anyway, all of that, if you imagine every single second you're alive and you're afraid to say what you want to say, it's going to lead to a block here. And over the last year, I've been just paying attention to it more. And I've noticed, and there's you and there's one other person for sure, who, when I spend time with them and I feel when they go into a divine flow where there's just like this energy that is beyond the human, this acts up like no other. It's like that presence reveals the parts of me that are still not whole, that are still not purified.
Mm.
And so as I was feeling like I was going to float away, because again, I don't know why. And if anyone's listening, I mean, if anyone in the astral realm is listening to this, please give me an answer for why I understand this. But I've never experienced it myself. But I understand what you were saying, everything, all of it, and why it's true. And not just like it's not just it's the truth with a capital T.
Mm.
And when I feel that, when I feel someone in that flow, like I want to float. Like I just want to literally, like I feel like I'm levitating. Like my whole body is just rising up. But then I feel that the block right here. So I just want to share, man. Like I know this feels really confusing right now. Maybe a little frustrating. Maybe a little, I don't know, whatever it is for you right now. Um, I just hope you know it's real and that, like you said, this is exactly where you're supposed to be right now. You're supposed to be talking about it on this pod. This is part of allowing the answer to come to you when it's ready to. Like we have to struggle through these things. We have to ask questions like over and over, like, what does this mean?
Mm.
You know?
It's crazy because, like, on a human level, like I said, it feels like, what did I just say? But when I'm in it, it's like it's not me. Like it's just like egoless movement that when I get out of it, I'm like it feels like a separate person. Like I'm yeah, the closest thing is like the muse that they talk about in artists where like you don't know when it's coming, you don't know where it's going. Except nowadays it feels like it's a little bit more there. I can kind of go into it, but you know when it's there. Like it's this spirit that takes over you and It does feel so real, but on like a human level, it's like doesn't feel explainable.
It's not. It's not explainable.
Like the air feels still in
Mm.
my room right now. Like my mind feels still. Like the world feels still. Like
I can't
this
see
was
another. Oh, good, good, good.
this was like 10% of what I felt on Saturday in terms of like I wasn't in my body. Like the experience started to happen and then I just
Yeah, if you look into like Buddhist traditions and like Hindu traditions, like specifically like Vedic traditions, which is like an ancient spiritual arm of like the Hindu. It's where it all is born from. There's different levels of what they call absorption. So when you access the state, it's the technical term for it is called samadhi. So if you like look it up, I think I told you something else yesterday when we were talking, but if you look up this, it'll make more sense. There's different levels of samadhi, which just means absorption with like it's a dissolution or dissolving of the illusion of separation, which we talked about 2 weeks ago, where we think that this and water bottle and I are two separate objects. But when you enter that state of absorption, you actually feel the unity of everything and the wholeness of everything and the isness of everything. And there's different levels of absorption you can get into. So if that could be something, if you're curious to learn more about, if it feels like it calls to you, but that's
Mhm.
how I'm making sense of what you're describing to me. I can map it to, I don't know which state it was exactly, which one it corresponds to, but um, the purpose of yoga, for example, yoga as a philosophy, not as a, the westernized version of yoga, which is a bastardization of it. Yoga was a whole complete like philosophy of how to return to God, to
Mhm.
remember our inherent divinity. And there's successive meditations and whatnot that you do, and you need like some kind of divine transmission, like a guru, to to show you that, like, when you recognize what's real, then you know that's real and everything else is not real. Real with a capital R. Like, we're getting out there right now. But the purpose of all this yoga stuff is for you to be able to get to a place where now you can enter these states of deep absorption where you feel the oneness. And that is kind of like, in Hinduism, that is the purpose of our life and many lifetimes. We go through, literally, I think in Hinduism they say it takes 1,000,000 lifetimes on average to come to a place where you can actually become enlightened and remember your inherent divinity. You know, um, so what you're experiencing, man, like it's so crazy to me because people toil to achieve these states that you're able to, and I say achieve kind of like an air quotes. It's not an achievement, but like I should say realize, because it's about realizing, it's realizing your true nature. That's what's happening. So people literally will spend lifetimes like doing what's called sadhana in Hinduism. It's like a spiritual practice. Every day you spend like an hour, 2 hours doing prayers. You do all whatever it is that your guru tells you to do, mantras, meditation. You do this work over and over and over and over and over, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, until you burn through your karma and you've achieved enough purity in your body and your heart that your body as a vessel is now able to open and receive these frequencies that are always there, but we're just not able to access normally, right? Like, the way I think about it is we have the electromagnetic spectrum, right? We can only see visible light, and that is this much of that spectrum. But there's like radio waves, microwaves, UV rays, all these other types of rays and waves rather that exist that are around us, but we don't perceive them, doesn't mean they're not real.
It's so funny because the analogy I keep seeing in my heart is like it's like an undercurrent to reality. Like as if right underneath my feet there is this channel of spiritual water that is just passing through. And if you can like sink into it, like you go with it.
Dude, I just don't think you understand the like,
Uh,
bro.
it's so affirming when you say those things because I'm like, I guess it makes so much sense. I'm like, bro, I can't even understand it. And then I say it and you're like, dude, you don't understand it. I was like, I know.
You don't understand how like what you're saying, like people like toil for. Which, if I were to like just step into a false guru hat for a second, which just makes no sense. But if I were to just try to like look at your situation, you probably have done so much spiritual work in past lives.
Mm.
And yeah, you don't have to believe in that if you don't want to. But from my perspective, to get you to where you are today, and like everything that's happening right now, the fact that we're talking about this, the fact that you and I entered each other's lives at the time that we did, like all of it is happening for a reason. And I know that
No,
sounds woo as hell.
I mean, dude, I'm so bought in on the woo these days lately. It's ridiculous. It's so funny because last night, because you said the same thing, you're like, you don't understand, like people toil for this. And I was like, the only thing that makes sense in my heart is my heart feels so pure. Like, and you even said it. People, I guess they do it to clean up their heart. And ironically, I was like, I just feel like it's from a pure heart. Like, I can't go a day. The reason why I'm even anxious about the situation with the girl is because I don't want to wear a mask and I don't want to hide the truth from her. My heart, like, I don't want to go to sleep one night without living in what is. And it's to the point now, it's with everything. The moment I hear someone lying, I feel this like discomfort in my heart and I like feel sadness for them. And when I like have lied in the past, like a part of me hurts. It's like, yeah,
I say follow that feeling.
if I don't listen to it, it like at this point it haunts me. So
I was like,
like,
I was gonna say, not like you have a choice
yeah,
at this
good luck
point.
now.
Yeah. I think it's
It's
all
a
perfect,
blessing.
man.
It's a blessing.
It's a blessing. It's perfect. And you know how you went in during this episode and you said you felt 10% of that? That's available to you anytime.
It's crazy. I just asked God, who are you? I am who I am.
Sounds like something God would say.
It's crazy that when we hang out, I can, it's so easy to access this.
I see you, man. I see you.
I know, I feel it. Wow.
Well, thanks for sharing all that. I have one last question about it, if you don't
Shoot,
mind.
please. I feel like I've taken so much of the show up with this.
There's no such thing. Um, this is a leading question, so I apologize in advance.
Lead me.
Does this feel like a burden at all?
I have like two answers coming up. I never thought about it like that, but I also feel like the belief that that monk had that I told you when they asked him like, how could you give up your whole life to go follow? And he's like, when the garbage man comes to pick up your trash, do you get mad at him for taking it out? And he's like, so did I feel when I let go of my life. He's like, it's what did I lose? And in comparison to what like I gain now, um, part of me feels that. The other part of me is like, I think there's like a small sense of grief, even because of what's happening this week with this girl. Like I've always felt different. Um, can never really live in the world. Doesn't work. Like I love the fruits of it. I party, I have fun, I do all this stuff. I feel so much better in that. But like I can't deny myself. Um, go sleep with someone for the sake of it. Um, and like desiring to find a partner that has some way to like actually see me and understand me in this, like not that easy. um, but probably worth it. And I think there'll probably come a time where I'm supposed to share it with people. So like this word of like I have discomfort with it because someone I told them earlier today and they're like, you sound so egotistical when you say this. But I was like, I feel like sometimes it's like a prophet. Like a prophet in the Bible is it's a catch 22 because their whole life is dedicated to like giving this wisdom to the world and sometimes they're killed for it. But they're like slaves to it, like in a holy way. Like they're given this thing. And I've had moments and I have small moments now where I was like, I have like sometimes I feel like a prophet and I have to say what is true and it's not because I'm like, oh, I know the truth. It's because it's like I can't help it.
Yeah. I don't think it's, I mean, I know why it sounds egotistical. Um, Maybe the world's not ready to have that conversation though.
Fair.
Yeah. Anything else for you?
Bro, thank you for holding a space where this could even all come out. Like this does not come out unless the emotional doors are open.
You're welcome. Thanks for trusting me.
I just can't believe that you have people in your life that like sit down and watch these episodes.
Yeah, that's been a blessing. I mean, every time someone reaches out and says something, it's just like nice. I never, as someone who I shared, didn't think much of himself. It's really nice to hear that these conversations are resonating. Um, so this is special. This is a special podcast. This is a special series. I love that we can do this. I love that people feel the energy that you and I feel when we talk, every time we talk. Like that's a blessing. And in our own ways, we are showing people what's real just by being who we are. And that's the beauty in all of it at the end of the day. So
You know, I haven't even shared it with us. Even my mom keeps begging me to send her the pod. And she sent me a microphone for it that broke on the shipping on the way it shipped. Like this little knob doesn't
oh yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
but and I have been so like I didn't want to hurt her because the first 3 episodes are basically me saying audibly like I don't believe, and she knows to some extent. But I think it's time to send it to her. But like there's also a reason why I don't have social media. Like for a long time, I mean, still now, like sharing these internal ideas with the world is like very like
Yeah. It's scary. It's scary. And it's part of the work, to be honest, of like feeling free enough to just be. If this is our truth, then we should feel safe sharing it with the world. And if we don't feel safe, then there's something to look at. Like, what is that? I have the same thing. How many times in this podcast am I like, I've never had that experience, therefore I don't know what to say about it, even though like I don't know, but I know. It's but like at the same that's my truth. So it's just our work to do. But it's all perfect. I trust the timing of it. I think you're also you trust the timing of this all. And every time we talk about it, every time you wonder about it, it's all part of the process. It's all perfectly happening and unfolding.
Something in my heart today said, "You're not supposed to use your phone for the rest of the day."
Boom.
Stay with me. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I'm going on a retreat in 30 minutes.
Let's go. All right. I feel like this is a good stopping point. Thank you again for being so vulnerable and sharing so much. And thank you for the listeners for being with us if you're here. I invite you to sit with whatever it is that you're feeling, just the way we are, and just trust the answers will come. See you guys next week. Much love.